All right. All right, good afternoon. Yeah, we got one senator here. We don't have a quorum yet, but we'll have the subcommittee going. So, Senator Hall.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members. At your pleasure.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, members, SB 199 will expand the authorized services provided under IHSS program to include 2 hours per month in reading assistance and document completion service for approximately 10,000 IHSS consumers who are blind. Unfortunately, this service is not one of the many already provided services through the IHSS program, such as personal hygiene assistance, accompaniment during travel, yard hazard abatement, and protective supervision. Reading assistance is critical for consumers who need to know about notices that may affect their ability to live independently, including insurance coverage, prescription drug labels, housing notification, or other time-sensitive information that might require action. SB 199 brings much-needed assistance to consumers of IHSS who are blind, ensuring they are aware of critical information affecting their health and well-being. We here in California have a responsibility to make sure all are well taken care of and are provided assistance as needed. I respectfully ask for your aye vote, and we have Jeff Tom from the California Council of the Blind present to testify and other witnesses as well.
Thank you. Mr. Chair and members, Jeff Tom, President of the California Council of the Blind. Senator Hall has done an excellent job of explaining the bill to you. Like to note that this is just a gaping small hole in the IHSS program. The council has, for the last 20 years, been trying to fix this little hole. For those who are blind or who have low vision, access to information is the most important service necessary to maximize independence. For those who have low income, such as those on the IHSS program, they do not have mechanisms such as the ability to pay on their own to acquire the services of a reader. So it is necessary that they do something to have their mail read to them. In many instances, they will just throw away their mail because they know they're not going to have the means to get it read to them. In other instances, IHSS providers who they employ will read it to them on their own time. But this is a hit-and-miss situation, and neither of these situations is one which the legislature should let continue. So I urge your aye vote. I think it's a small fix and one which has been a long time in coming. And again, I thank you for your consideration and urge your aye vote.
Great, thank you. Any additional witnesses in support?
Hello, hi. My name is Christina Boss Hamilton, representing AFSCME UDW, Local 3930. We represent approximately 77,000 IHSS workers in California. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members of the committee, for hearing the bill today, and a special thanks to Senator Hall for being our author. UDW has supported this bill. This is our second year. We think that this is, as Jeff just laid out, a small fix to a potentially huge problem for the percentage of people that it impacts. And it's something that the legislature really has the ability this year to fix for good. And we're extremely proud to partner with the California Council of the Blind on this bill, and very much ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional witnesses in support? Opposition? Seeing none, any questions from the members?
Yeah, this seems like one of those things that should already be offered. Tell me why just now this bill is coming up, and why aren't current IHSS workers allowed to do that? Can you speak to that?
Yes. Well, for a number of reasons. In part, it has been a cost factor. And for that reason, we've narrowed the scope of the bill tremendously to minimize the cost a great deal. We tried to get it passed at times when, it was difficult to pass almost anything in terms of physical bills. Times are a little better off now, and because we've been able to narrow the scope of the bill, we think it an appropriate time to get this done. But basically, the reason it has not been offered, it is, as Senator Hall has expressed, it is not one of the specific services that was authorized under the IHSS program more than 40 years ago.
So will the current IHSS workers, will they be the ones doing this? And so this is just an additional 2 hours per month, or is this? Are we bringing in others?
No, you're not bringing. It's the current IHSS workers who will be providing the service.
Okay.
And it just allow for two additional hours for those who are impaired by vision impaired.
Okay.
And we took out the reason why it did not pass last year is because the cost was a little high. This time we figured out a way to extrapolate the cost significantly, and we were able to take some amendments to do that. And so we're here today on this bill.
And to offer also, Assemblyman, the bill doesn't add 2 hours to the max that a person is allotted through the program. So the max remains 283. It just is now one of the services the social worker can authorize you for is this, but it doesn't actually give you 2 more.
It's not 2 extra hours. The services, the hours that they're already committed, of those 2 hours are for the service.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. But if that's the case, it just seems like this should already be one of those things.
It's one of those things that should have already.
That should have already been authorized.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah. We've always considered it an oversight. Yeah, it should have been fixed from the get-go, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions? Notice that we do have a quorum, so I'll ask the Madam Secretary to please call the roll.
Chu,
Yep.
Mays,
Yes.
Calderon, Lopez, Mainshine, Stone, Thurman. Got a quorum.
All right. Yes, we do have a quorum. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Can I second? I'd like to. I second the motion, and I'm very supportive of this common sense bill. I think those of us who can read our emails or other documents with ease can easily take those tasks for granted. And we cannot assume that someone will always be around to help a person who's not able to do this. So we have a motion by Assemblymember Stone, and I'll second it. And at this point, Senator, would you like to close?
I will use your statement as my close.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, can we please call the roll?
Chu,
Yep.
Chu,
Aye.
Chu, aye. Mays,
Aye.
Mays, aye. Calderon, Lopez, Lopez, aye. Mainshine, Stone, Stone, aye. Thurman. The bill is out. You want me to read the motion?
Okay.
To pass to the Appropriations Committee.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Thank you so much.
All right. Just noted that Ms. Lopez is here. Would you like to present your bill? AJR 17. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Chair and members. Assembly Joint Resolution 17 in support for the foster care tax credit, which seek to help many families who care children for 6 months or less, who unlikely term foster families are not eligible for tax credit assistance. I know that on child care taxes credit, AG 17 urgent the Congress to pass a tax credit families who are children for the foster short time. Those families could be eligible to tax credits up to $1,000 each year per child. This credit is prorated by the numbers of months foster child care family care. With me, I have 2 witnesses to testify.
Hi. Good afternoon, Chair and members. My name is Leah Burdick, and I'm the founder of the Foster Coalition, which seeks to elevate our nation's awareness of foster care issues. First, I'd like to express my thanks to Assemblymember Lopez and her staff. I'm a constituent who reached out to her office for the first time about this Foster Care Tax Credit Act, and their responsiveness and support for the foster care cause has been very inspiring. Foster parents provide an invaluable service to our state and to our society. Caring for children in foster care can be more expensive than caring for one's own biological children, given that many children in care have additional medical and behavioral care needs brought on by abuse and neglect. We need to be cognizant of the additional monetary costs many foster families incur when they care for children, even for just a short time period, and make sure costs don't prevent families from taking in children who need homes. One way to do that is by putting policies in place to encourage more caring families to become foster parents. The foster parent shortage is well documented. On January 1st, 2015, there were nearly 63,000 children in the California foster care system. Just last week, the LA Times reported that the number of beds in foster homes in LA County has dropped from 22,000 to 9,000 in the last 15 years. Nationwide, demand for foster beds exceeds supply by more than 30%. Making foster parenting within reach to more loving families is also crucial for moving away from expensive long-term group home care. Group home care costs 6 to 10 times more per month than standard foster care, and there is no evidence that these group home expenditures result in better outcomes for children. These children are our children. Let's support existing foster parents and encourage more loving people to become foster parents. I respectfully request your aye vote on AJR 17. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional witnesses in support? Any opposition? Seeing none, any questions from the members? All right, thank you very much. Like the Assembly Member Lopez presented, the foster parents play a vital role in our state by providing a safe and temporary home to children in the child welfare system. And often those placements can be for a short period of time, but nevertheless provide crucial support to foster youth. I support this resolution because it recognizes the important services provided by the foster parent. Looks like we lost a forum. Huh? Okay. Would you like to close?
I respectfully asking for your vote.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can we? Okay. We do have a motion. Do we have a motion?
So we'll place it on call until. Place it on call.
Okay. Well, we'll place it on call until we have a full quorum. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this is a busy time for most of the members. The senators are presenting their bill or attending their own committee meeting, as well as many of our members in the Human Services Committee. As we're waiting for the next senator, whoever it may be, to show up, anybody want to just address this body, or you can save your time for testimony later. So I stated earlier before you present the bill. Anybody? No? Okay. What?
I have a couple of questions for you.
You want to come up here so people can hear you?
Unless this is a senator right here.
Is that a senator? No. Is that a question related to any bills?
It's not a question. Just wanted to come introduce myself, say hi, and let you know that I do appreciate the service that you guys do. It's very valuable and critical to our youth. I'm an advocate for youth, and some of the recent bills that you passed definitely had a positive impact. So I just wanted to say that. And I had another question.
Oh.
How hard is it to become an assembly member?
You answer that. Yeah. Well, how hard?
How hard? How long? Like, generally, what is the process like? In like maybe 45 seconds.
Well, 45 seconds. I'll take 20 seconds. I'll ask my colleague to finish it up. It just have to first file the paper. Mm-hmm. When there's an open seat. Mm-hmm. and raise some money so you can get your message out. And then reaching out to your voters, shake a lot of hands and kiss a lot of babies and hug a lot of women. And there you are. So it's not as hard as you think, And also it depends on the luck who your opponent is. Yeah, please.
I feel like if you care, have a really passion to serve people, everything's possible.
That's good.
I'll just say that a lot of people. In fact, that question comes up a lot. And just as the chair had said, if you are a registered voter over 18 years old, you file your paperwork. If you have a desire to serve, and then you run. I often tell folks that if you have the talents and abilities to serve and opportunities arise to serve, then you do it. And so if you have that in you, then do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Thank you very much. I take it as a supportive witnesses. Any opposition? We're seeing none. We're still waiting for a senator. Is this a senator? No. No. All right, it looks like it will have a very heated discussion in the audience. The consultant suggested a 10-minute recess, so you can feel free to talk up a little bit louder, and we'll come back in 10 minutes. But Senator Bell would be here too.
Convene.
All right.
Oh, there's a, okay. Let's do this.
All right.
Yeah. Let's do Senator first.
Thank you very much. The recess is just over when Senator Monning came in, and Senator Bell, you have 3 bills that are up, and you guys want to iron out which one to do first? So we're trying to figure out who. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. The committee now reconvene, and we have Senator Monning to present Bill SB 475. Senator?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, members. Let me start first by thanking Senator Bell for his courtesy, as I know he follows with 3 bills. This SB 475, I want to start out by thanking the chair and your staff, and that I do accept the committee amendments as framed, and I'll address those in a moment. But just quick background. In the continuing care retirement communities, this bill was brought to us. We learned of a situation where a resident will make a deposit, and either after their passing or if they move from the facility, no specific requirements as to when the deposit that they're entitled to would be returned. So what this bill seeks to do is strike a balance that protects the interest of the residents, to have some predictability of getting that deposit back, to either settle in a state or to be available to move to another facility, and the interest of the owners of these facilities to also have some predictability and not have to establish reserve accounts, etc. So as amended, Senate Bill 475 would require prospective continuing care retirement community contracts, or CCRCs, which condition entrance fee repayment upon resale of the unit to have at least 20% returned to the resident, or 10% for instances where the repayment is owed to the controlling estate of that resident who is deceased within 120 days. Any remaining balance for existing and prospective contracts after 120 days that is not repaid would be subject to the following interest. After 120 days, interest will be set at the United States prime lending rate, and after 180 days, interest will be at 2% plus the U.S. prime lending rate. Unless part of an equity interest contract, SB 475 prohibits a CCRC from applying monthly fees after a resident has vacated the unit and states provider, quote, good faith efforts to reoccupy or resell, close quote, the vacant unit. The bill also requires the provider to disclose the average and longest length of time for repayment. For some contracts, current law conditions a CCRC entrance fee repayment on the resale of a unit, and this has resulted in some seniors or their estates experiencing significant delays in the repayment of entrance fees. SB 475 specifies that there needs to be a timely repayment of the CCRC entrance fee and adds an incentive for a CCRC to resell a unit in the form of interest on the unpaid remaining balance, which is also fair to those who are waiting. I've heard numerous stories from residents and estates for which steadfast repayment has not occurred. Significant amendments have already been taken to try to address the opposition's concerns with this bill. Part of the challenge is balancing the need for steadfast repayment and ensuring that the CCRC can remain fiscally solvent so that the current residents are not adversely impacted. While I understand these counter amendments do not remove opposition, we've made significant progress and will continue to work with the opposition on this bill and try to find further areas of compromise. With me to provide testimony and support, Walt Rosette, former president of the California Continuing Care Residents Association, and Ignacio Hernandez, and with the chair's permission, would like to present those witnesses.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Okay, my name is Walt Rosette. I am currently a director of CalCRA, the California Continuing Care Residents Association, and have been a resident of University Retirement Community at Davis for some 15 years. As the only organization representing the interests of the residents of continuing care retirement communities in California, it's CalCRA's mission to ensure that the quality of life and financial security of residents are protected. SB 475 is an important bill for all CCRC residents because it strikes a balance between providers being able to operate and provide services and protecting residents and their financial investments in their facilities. Residents pay a substantial entrance fee, often made up of their life savings, many with the understanding that if they decide to leave or when they pass away, a portion of that money will be returned to them or their estate. This is a promise made by the provider. What they do not anticipate is that it may take providers extended periods of time to pay that money back. It has on occasion taken up to 5 years to get an interest fee repayment back from the provider. A constituent in the Senator's District has been waiting on a refund for more than $500,000 for more than 3 years, and he's still waiting. This is not the fault of units not selling. Providers sell units every day, and most communities are at a high occupancy rate. The primary problem is when the facility has units that have never been sold, perhaps due to an expansion. Providers have an interest in selling the unsold units first. We must encourage providers to sell units that require entrance fee repayments. The real impact of these long delays is that some residents feel trapped and some feel discouraged, that all they may end up leaving their families or loved ones is a disheartening legal battle with their provider or an uncertain, burdensome delay. Thank you for your consideration, and I urge you to render an aye vote on SB 475.
Thank you.